From Atlanta, Georgia, welcome to Fearfully and Wonderfully Me, a podcast for women on leadership and life skills with Rhea Story. Rhea shares powerful life and leadership principles, helping you maximize your potential and become the woman God created you to be.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's episode on mindset. Mac and I were speaking this week up in Indiana, and we were speaking somewhere else last week. But both times I've touched on this in both of those presentations recently about refusing to embrace a victim mindset. And this week in Indiana, we were talking about a leadership from a leadership perspective of how, as leaders, our ability to turn away from a victim mindset really helps increase our influence. But as I thought about it a little bit more after our presentation, it's really our ability to shift our mindset away from a victim mentality that determines our success as people. And what's interesting is that, as Stephen Covey talks about this a little bit in 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, a fabulous book. If you have not read that book, I highly recommend it, or listen even to the audio. But Stephen Covey talks about in there that victimism gives your future away. Now, what do I mean when I talk about having a victim mindset, or what does Stephen Covey mean when he says victimism? When we have a victim mindset, it's when we tell ourselves the story, or we embrace the mindset that what happens to us gives us an excuse as to why we cannot do something. And as Covey says, it gives our future away, because the moment we say, I can't do this because, or I can't achieve this because, or I can't get there, I can't be happy because. See, the moment we embrace that mindset, we are giving our future away. We're giving our joy in life away, because we're looking for an excuse. And I guarantee you, we will find one. When we start looking for excuses in life, we start finding them. And that completely disables our ability to accomplish things in life, because we start looking for reasons why it's not our fault. And that's really what it comes down to, is proactive people look around and they realize they cannot change or control everything that happens. Absolutely. I'm not saying that the world is perfect if you decide it is. No. Proactive people realize that they cannot control or change everything, but they realize that they always have the ability to control their mindset and their attitude about what happens. So, but the thing is, it's almost a trap that we fall into, even unintentionally. I'm the first person to say, I don't want to have a victim mindset. I want to make sure that I'm taking responsibility for the things that I can control and influence in my life, and stop looking for excuses in life. And, I would be the first one to tell you that. And I talk a lot about having a proactive attitude and a proactive mindset. But it's interesting. Just the other day, I caught myself falling into that victim mindset trap. And if you've been following my podcast or my blogs, you know that I ran my 7th marathon just about a month ago. And it had been a goal for several years to come in at just about 4 hours. So I really had a time goal this year and for the several years past that I was trying to reach. And, about a month ago, I ran that marathon, and I've been trying and training to get to 4 hours. And I did. I came in at 4 hours and 5 seconds. And I really, I kind of considered that I met my goal. The goal was to come in at 4 hours, and 4 hours and 5 seconds was pretty close. So I was very happy with that. And in terms of, I'd put the work in and I'd put the training in and the discipline, because really it is as much mental discipline as it is physical. And I always enjoy the challenge of training for something like that, because it does create discipline. in my life. And that's a good thing. That's a positive thing. And, discipline is one of those things that the more we practice it, the more we find we get better at it. So it's always a good something for me to do, once or twice a year. Put a big goal on my list for the year, and make sure that I have the discipline to work toward it. So I was pretty satisfied with. I knew I had set that goal, and I knew it was a stretch goal because I'd tried several years and I'd come up short. 3 years. I'd tried and was not able to be successful at that goal, and that's okay. I knew it was a stretch goal, and you know, running a race like that is a physical test. It's a mental test, and we don't always reach the goals that we set. But so I felt very good about the effort that I put forth this year, and actually coming in at just 5 seconds beyond 4 hours. And that's a long time to run. So I was very happy about it. And I was sharing a couple weeks ago. I was sharing. Somebody asked me how my race went, so I was sharing about the race, and almost instantly I fell into that victim mindset trap, and I didn't even realize it. I realized I was telling someone, I was giving the race recap, and I said, you know what? They had to change the course last minute, like the night before the race. They had to change the course due to some flooding in the city where the race was. It was in Georgia. And so last minute, they really had to switch up the course, and then we ended up running 3 laps around a golf course. And I said, and that was nice because you kind of knew, the spectators kind of knew where you'd be coming by, and I got to see Max several times throughout the race. So that was really good. But the downside of that was there was so much more traffic on the course because, as I came around for the second loop, I was passing people who were maybe doing just the half marathon, and or some people who were walking. And so, we'd all started together, but some people were just walking, or some people were kind of jogging and then walking and taking breaks. And so as I came around for the second loop, I was having to weave and dodge a lot of those people. And some of the very fast people were weaving and dodging me and passing me. So as we started doing those loops, there was just constantly more traffic on the course. And then I realized I was falling into that victim mindset because here I was using the course change as an excuse for why I didn't come in 5 seconds faster. I was explaining how the loops caused more traffic, and maybe that slowed me down a little bit. And you know what? It was just that simple to start blaming something else for why I didn't come in 5 seconds faster. Now, it may very well be true that having to run the laps and dodge the traffic cost me some time. Absolutely. But is there something else I could have done differently to come in 5 seconds faster? Absolutely. And see, that's the mindset shift I'm talking about. We always encounter the reality of life. The reality of my marathon was running the laps. But when I start blaming that for why I didn't come in 5 seconds faster, I'm choosing a victim mindset. I'm saying it's not my fault I didn't come in 5 seconds faster. But absolutely, is there something I could have done different in my training? Or maybe I could have just eaten something better or cut out some of the junk food that I like to indulge in. My weekly bowl of ice cream, I talk about that. Is it possible that I could have done something different to improve that time by 5 seconds? Absolutely. And see, the true freedom in life is when we refuse to embrace that victim mindset. Our true freedom in life comes from saying, I'm going to choose what I can focus on and what I can improve on. And if I focus on that and I start blaming everything else and everyone else around me, then I find empowerment. Then I find freedom because it's mental. And then it doesn't matter what's going on around me so much because the freedom exists in the mind. And I know I talk about that a lot, but it's so powerful how life improves when we shift away from a victim mindset. And I come back to Covey's quote, victimism gives our future away. I could spend the rest of my life blaming what happened on that marathon race for why I didn't come in 5 seconds faster. Or I could say, you know what? I can do something better next time. Let me fix that and let me improve my training or improve my eating or improve something that I can control. And that's where we find the freedom. When I say focus on what I can control. There's some pretty good quotes I'd love to share with you because, I love to share quotes. And John Maxwell says, we're either the masters or the victims of our attitude. And it's a matter of personal choice. We're either the masters or the victims of our attitudes. So when we choose a positive attitude and we choose to be positive and focus on proactively, consciously focusing on what we can control and influence, we find it so much easier. We find that life becomes better because we realize that nobody else really makes us mad. I know I'm not the only one who's ever said he or she makes me so mad. But really, it's our choice mentally to get mad or angry. Now, it may not be an easy choice not to get mad or angry or upset because we're humans. We're creatures of emotion. We have those emotions. We almost just, without even thinking about it, we fall into that trap of victim mindset and saying, he made me so mad. Or my race was 5 seconds slow because of the course change. It's the same concept. It's just that mental mind shift to say, you know what goes on around outside me doesn't have to control my mindset, my attitude, my emotional health. My emotional health and happiness isn't determined by what's going on around me. And it's powerful because when we realize that we can be as happy as we decide to be, we can have as much joy in our life as we decide to. It's there for the taking. It's simply a choice. It's one of the greatest gifts that God has given us is our ability to shift our mindset and to be positive and proactive. So, and when it comes down to it, our mindset matters because our mindset is what determines our success in life. It determines our influence with other people. It determines the number of options sometimes that we get. People with a positive, proactive mindset find more options and opportunities because it opens doorways. It opens possibilities. It creates a mindset that allows us to search for possibilities. So think about that. The next time you feel yourself and you catch yourself falling into that victim mindset, maybe you're talking about something or you're blaming somebody or you're saying, man, the Christmas crowds are just giving me so much stress and and when the moment you catch yourself going, he or she or they made me so mad or upset or frustrated. Whenever we start blaming something around us is the moment we lose the ability to control and influence and therefore improve our mental circumstances. Until next time.
Start increasing your influence and maximizing your potential with Ria's audiobooks. Available at audible.com, amazon.com, and iBooks. Please visit riastory.com to learn about Ria's books, resources, speaking, and training programs. Thanks for listening.